Well, let's learn on the next panel the power of data, delivering the next gen data powered banking experience. And we have a phenomenal lineup of esteemed panelists out here. May I now request our panelists to join us on the stage. Firstly, I'll request Mr. Ravi Ahuja, SVP, Head Fintech Partnership, Digital Channels Credit Card, DCB Bank, to join us. So a very warm welcome to you. I'll request you to please be seated according to the screen image. Next is joining the panelists, Vishweshwaran Ramakrishnan, SVP and Head, Core IT Applications, Unity Small Finance Bank. So a very warm welcome to you as well. Thank you so much for joining in. Well, next on the panel is Sonu Sachdeva, Head of GPS Data Technology, HSBC. Can we have a huge round of applause and welcome Mr. Sachdeva on the stage, please. Joining this dynamic panel is the panelist Mohammad Khalid Hussain, Head IT and Cybersecurity Head, Bombay Mercantile Cooperative Bank. Can we have a huge round of applause and welcome Mr. Hussain on the stage. Joining the panel is Vikram Keshav, Head of IT, Projects and Surround Systems Technology Solutions Group, CSB Bank. A very warm welcome, Mr. Keshav. Can we have a huge round of applause, everybody? And taking this conversation ahead is our moderator, Dr. Anuradha Bhatia, Head of Technology, India, CTO, Standard Chartered Bank. Can we have a huge round of applause, everyone? Well, let us now understand what truly defines the next gen of data-powered banking experience from the panelists itself. Thank you so much. Over to you, ma'am.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Hope we don't make you sleep after a good lunch session. So we'll try to keep you awake as much as possible. And talking about data, I think it's something very important that we always talk about. And as we talk about AI going forward, I think a lot of talk on data is going to take us an interesting roadmap. So thanks to my panel on the power of data, delivering next-gen data-powered banking experience. So I thought before we start, we wanted to have an ice-breaking session of 1 minute, where each one of us tell you what, other than banking, we all do. One word. We will start with Ravi.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So other than banking, I spend a lot of time driving, listening to music, and cycling. I mean, that's my passion.
Over to you, Vishy.
Thanks, Anuradha. Other than banking, most of the time what I do is I am love to teach. Right? I'm into mentoring, I'm into fitness, I'm into coaching as well, and I'm also a fellow cyclist.
So we have two cyclists on the panel. Sonu, over to you.
Golf and learning Spanish, both not very good at.
Entire IT related and fraud risk management and patience of the infrastructure and digital banking involvement.
Yeah, apart from banking, I love to play instruments. I'm a musician as well. And also fitness, like a lot of people here, I like to run marathons. Yeah.
Okay, good to hear. So for me, other than banking, I love to paint, so that's my passion. So let's come back to data. I think from the decades of commercial banking and operated on document-heavy workflows, I think in today's generation and in today's next-gen banking demands, we have switched a lot from reviews to a continuous real-time banking scenarios. So we have divided this particular panel discussion into 5 important domains, I can say, from inception to protection, infrastructure, expansion, and also talking about trust. So the first question focuses on our paper-heavy workflows to how we move towards real-time risk assessment. So my first question to Sonu is, what are the biggest operational friction point when transition on underwriting team from physical document verification to pure algorithm-driven data models? So you can focus more on technology, business, AI. Over to you.
I think, so the way we look at it is those friction points are also in a way guardrails to protect the enterprise, right? And instead of having a 0 to 1 thinking, maybe the way to look at it is there is a part of the process which can be safely automated. And then there's a decision and a discretion part, which probably you need somebody with experience to do, right? And then you overlay that with different segments of customers, you start getting an answer of what's possible, what's safe, what should be done, and what probably you don't want to do. Okay? Anybody else?
Right. So I think data plays there something very, very important where we have to make sure that the data which is playing underline is right, and how we take those data in different formats, all data points are touched very well. So moving away, as we talk about predictive automation and how this data is going to play an important role, Mohammed Khalid, I would like to ask you, in what ways banks are utilizing the non-traditional data streams to continuously monitor corporate credit health post-dispersal processes?
That is all data related using for the banking environment, for the core banking applications and CBS applications to be taking care of entire data and collecting the data from others department like digital data and others data. So that is the database as well as application server had to recollect the data and give the positive to be digital banking and others like that for. So in that the Oracle database and CBS applications database to be taking care of entire banking environment. Yes.
And also, I think when you touched upon data, I think risk and monitoring plays a very, very important role there. So would you like to throw some light on fraud control?
Yes. It's very important questions raising for Radha ma'am because today is data is very, all the critical data is the banking data is the critical data. You're taking care of entire critical data as well as banking data to monitor daily basis, and you have to report the top management for the data where we can use how to fraud the data to be detected, how to control the digital banking and fraud risk management entire of database. So data have to taking care of entire the day-to-day basis and backup process to be entire of the within the tool and monitoring the daily basis of data application.
Yeah, I think adding on Ravi, I'd like few inputs from you on how you, from your perspective, will take care of risk monitoring and fraud control.
Sure. So I would like to break this question. The firstly, I would like to pinpoint when we talk about data AI, what is the value chain? How is it helping anyone? So if I, leaving banking aside, if data will help me get more insights, insights will help me personalize things, personalization will help me get more revenue. And of course, with more revenue, more business, I have to manage risk and I have to manage customer delight. I mean, that's the value chain. Now, if I try to bring that to banking, and if I want to see, if I foresee in by next 2030, I don't think so. Banking will sell normal products. What we are doing, banking will be more of prediction. I mean, what customer needs. So this AI and data will anticipate customer needs. It will try to provide real-time solutions at the moment. It may do a credit screening real-time, and at the same time, it will also offer you, or maybe like fraud. I mean, it may help. It may give you some pointers which will stop fraud before it actually happens, and it will also offer you some personalized solutions. So basically, by 2030, banking arena will completely change, to my view, from traditional banking. It will be more of intelligent banking, powered by AI data, and most importantly is a clear customer consent. I mean, that's where I see this. Now coming to credit, uh, credit monitoring, yes, again, if I want to bring the same analogy to credit, now, today, India is at a very different stage. I think so we are very fortunate enough to have strong infrastructure around digital payment infrastructure. That's point one, which is our Aadhaar and our, Aadhaar and payment aggregator services. On the other hand, we have a very strong digital public infrastructure like Aadhaar. I'm sorry. So if I merge both of these together, we as a country, I think so we would be one of the best to have such a strong customer consented infrastructure. I don't think so any of the countries in the world would have this strong. Now, basis this, the credit monitoring, which was earlier, on periodic intervals, I think so now that has moved on, that will gradually move to continuous monitoring rather than periodic monitoring. So that's the first change that I see in credit monitoring. Now, how is this happening? A lot of things. You have so much of access to GST data. You can actually see organizations invoicing there. You have access to digital data, transactions that are happening. So this has increased the power of a bank to have access to real-time data. So what is happening is net from periodic monitoring to it's moving to a continuous monitoring. And at the same time, my financial statements, which we look at, may now move into being behavioral insights. Rather than financial statement, we'll start looking at behavioral insights. So to conclude, I think so, credit is now more of moving from a balance sheet monitoring to a behavioral monitoring. That's the shift that I foresee now with AI and data coming in. Yep, thanks.
Thanks, Ravi. Sonu, can I request you if you can add from a foreign bank perspective how this is helping us?
I think, so from a multinational bank, right, the flavor is, especially when it comes to credit, knowing both sides of that value chain, right? We are able to serve our customers effectively if we know, especially in the supply chain, trade type situations, who are on the better side. It allows us to take maybe a slightly more sophisticated underwriting position. And data comes into picture, right? Because for us who operate in 55 countries, having a joint up view of everything then enables that type of customer being serviced in that way.
Okay, thank you. So as we, I think, heard is how we are taking care of data from credit to real time, how we are going to do the transactions. So I think exactly where the Indian financial ecosystem is moving towards is, I think, directly into how you take a consent-led transaction, public infrastructure, which is coming. I think we touched base upon Aadhaar and UPI, which is more important. And as we move forward, I think account aggregators also will play a very, very important role. And taking care of UPIs, providing the foundational data rails and guardrails over there. So I think more important as we move forward, we would like to also understand where is India tech stack on data moving forward to. So Vikram, I would like to focus for you is the unique infrastructure advantage that we have for digital public infrastructure. So my question is very, very simple, I think, with reference to how the public infrastructure has matured and how banks are leveraging the account aggregators and taking care of hyper-personalized corporate and retail lending experience.
Brilliant question. Thanks, Dr. Anuradha. So, account aggregator is a very important layer in your digital public infrastructure, right? Thanks to the government has invested a lot in all these Aadhaar, your PAN, etc., right? So let's come from a customer perspective, yeah? What does the customer want, especially in the lending space? He wants to come into a bank, get his collaterals ascertained, evaluated, take a loan and go home. He doesn't want to waste time in the branch or with a RM, etc. So at the top, if you see, there are 4 major milestones for a digital lending journey. What are those? A maker, a checker, a credit underwriting, then a disbursement. This is what it is. And post-disbursement, there's, of course, your collections and other things that happen. Now, in the maker section, how does this DPI or digital public infrastructure help us? So, maximum attrition happens in the sales. In a bank, if you like to see, right? About 40 to 50% is a churning public. So, no matter how much amount of training you give, how much amount of learning you provide them, filling in forms will be a arduous task. So can we digitize this? Yes. How can we digitize it? Make it idiot proof is using your account aggregators. Of course, with consent, I have to say that. So your name, your phone number, your Aadhaar, etc., everything can be pre-filled before you go into the customer and ask him for a signature or verify, etc. That's the maker point of it. Second point where your account aggregators can help is by providing you those information on cash flows, on your bank statements, on your very basic as UPI spending, etc. In fact, SBI has come up with loans based on your UPI spending. So that is what is happening on the maker front, where you get pre-populated information and you don't need to ask the customer. What does this do? This increases the customer trust in the bank. Yeah, man, he's not asking me too many questions, I am fine. But whereas you're getting the data from somewhere else, which is your account aggregator. Then coming to the checker. So my esteemed colleague here said you can get credit underwritings and you can get AI into those, infuse into it, and then see how we can do the checker part of it. Yeah, before that, fraud risk management, your anti-money laundering checks, your dedupe checks, etc. happen. That also can be got from your account aggregators. So your maker is solved, your checker is solved. Now coming to credit underwriting. So your early warning signals, systems which give you predetermined information of how a customer from a retail perspective, how a corporate from a wholesale banking perspective, you have ready data. So you don't have to ask the customer or go through reams and reams of P&L statements, your account statements, etc. In fact, you have your GST invoices, which will prove or which will give you an insight into how much sales he is doing. Then, so that will solve your credit underwriting perspective. Of course, there is AI to do your business rule engines, which can give you a score of how a customer fares in the industry, what is his repayment capability, etc., etc. Now, coming to disbursement, of course, these are all automated today. You have UPI infrastructure, you have NEFT, RTGS, and other infrastructures. Recently, there is clearing systems for 5 times a day if you are working with checks and demand drafts. So that is taken care of. The last part, which is post-disbursement, which is what is collections. How do you kind of put your faith in the customer that, boss, I am giving him an X number of rupees, but how do he replay? Of course, you have all your checks and balances done, but your UPI transactions, your other transactions can help you in the sense the bank, to gain an advantage and also understand the repayment capability of the customer. So that way, account aggregators play a vital role here because the wealth of information that they carry. Yeah? So I'll pause here if somebody else wants to have a dig at it.
Yeah, over to you.
Actually, Vikram, I could relate. I mean, while we do the maker checker, now I think so we have pre-approved loans.
Absolutely.
So that is, without even customer, knowing, I have, of course, with some consent, I have seen his data. I have realized that he is at some milestone in the life cycle where he may require a loan, and I pitch him.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
that's very common now when you go to, Google or you go to your banking apps, you will suddenly see that, there is a education loan offer pop up, and that could be because somewhere on Google you would have searched about education loan. So it is that's how data and AI
Absolutely,
combo
absolutely.
is helping.
I think adding to what you said is on the corporate side. While retail, I agree, there are pre-approved loans for PLEL, etc. But on the corporate side, no, big corporates, big large organizations can provide reams and reams of information about their assets and liabilities and their repayment capabilities. Where the challenge sets in is these startups, the fintechs that are very fledgling, right? For them, I think the GST invoices and their UPI transactions make a lot of difference in gaining support from the banks. I think that's one particular niche area where AI, not only AI, AA, which is your account aggregators, can play a lot of role.
I think I'll take some pieces from both of you and say when we talk about data, we're talking about personalization. There's one question before I throw it to my panelist. I want to throw it to the audience. How well will you trust AI to have your complete banking taken care of, or you will trust the human still in the loop? You'll still trust human.
Can we get some mics around if it's there?
Or maybe somebody can speak and answer one quick question for me. I think human in the loop, okay, taken, but why? When we're talking so much about AI, we're talking so much about data, we're still talking about human in the loop.
Anuradha, there is a point here. Most of the audience are bankers, so they will always trust the humans in the loop.
That's the reason I'm asking them, because as we are transforming banking and we say it is all data-driven, AI-driven, we want quick to market. We don't have patience every transaction, even on a banking app. It cannot be delayed even by a 1 nanosecond or a microsecond because we want the transaction to be processed so fast. But if we are trusting more and more on data and AI, I think it's okay to take a 10 minutes lag, but to have a good data going forward rather than in a hurry that it should happen in nanoseconds or microseconds. So I know AI is important, but human in loop is also important. Okay. Now going back to our questions to my panelists, I think I spoke about AI and I think human in the loop is important. So the next topic that we are going to talk about is data, trust, which is most important, and the ethical use of artificial intelligence. So the first question to Sonu. How do we balance the hunger of deep learning AI models for raw alternative data with tightening global data protection and privacy mandates?
I think this one is super interesting. These LLMs or the Gen AI that we have today is insanely hungry when it comes to data, right? So that's number one. Number two is it is very easy to get this alternate raw data, right? A lot of our social media sites, their business model is selling their customers' data, right? So it's not difficult now to get, okay, what did you search for? Where were you? What have you bought? What is in your cart? Stuff, right? Now for banks, if you're going to put customer at the center, surrounded by a layer of trust, then you have to walk this fine balance of what is right for the customer and in how far are you looking to go. And for these LLMs, you can still manage them with synthetic data, etc., etc. But for us, or for, I would guess for most of the banks that are going to put customer at the center with trust, they will not go beyond a certain point, right? And then that certain point will also mean that hyper-personalization that we are talking about will have certain limits.
Vikram, I would like to request you to add few points here.
Yeah, I think Sonu made a very important point. Point is that, see, we do not like governance. We are humans. We don't like governance. But that said, governance is extremely important. And fortunately, I won't say unfortunately, fortunately, we are all governed by RBI. I think all the panelists here come from banks. So RBI's Advisory 6, I don't know if you guys have read it, but it makes a very important point that you can use the data for all your whatever testing, etc. you want to do internally, but you cannot misuse the data. So how do we protect it? How do we kind of give a layer or a perimeter around it which says, okay, I'm using the data which is not mine, which is public data, but still I am conscious of the fact that I'm not supposed to kind of misuse the data or sell it outside or make it public, etc. So there are 3-4 things that we can do. One is, of course, human in the loop. You spoke about it before, and a lot of your people also said we need human in the loop. That's one thing. Second is synthetic data. If not the real data, at least synthetic data can be brought in, which will mimic your real data up to about 70-80%. As Sony was saying, large models, LLMs can work on that. I would go one step further saying that instead of LLMs, we should bring SLMs as well, small language models, which will work on data which is decentralized, which means now you need to get the LLMs to learn your data set, to learn your rule set. But can we do it in a piecemeal approach? Yes, we can, which can run on your laptops, on your desktops, etc. Then combine it all and then push it into a central server. That's the second. Third is you can always encrypt the data and then test on that data, because you have enhanced cryptography these days, which your AI algorithms can use. Without decrypting the data, they can test on that data. So that ultimately, what's the point? Point is that you have to make your LLM as matured as possible so that your confidence ratio or your result ratio goes up and up and up and up. So initially it might be 70%, but over a period of time you'll reach about 95, 96, 97%. So these 3-4 things you can definitely do in order to make that the usage of AI and the data more ethical in nature. Yeah.
I think on the behavioral analytics part of it, I don't know how many phones will hallucinate if you go home, because your phones are listening to what we are saying. So a lot of data is getting gathered there. So maybe you ask a question, it will hallucinate what we are speaking or what you are trying to think and trying to search on your phones, even though you're listening, but some search on the phone can combine the two. So I think behavioral analytics in banking also is going to take a leap forward, and governance is something that I think we all will have to adhere to. Otherwise, the data leakage is going to create a lot of problem. I think we all are so used to searching things and making our data available very easily to all the models to get trained to. I will not say I am eliminating myself, because my iPad in front is also listening and it's going to give me some hallucinations later. So a lot of data getting leaked and generated. But however, when we talk about deep learning and AI models, and then we talk about biases and hallucinations, so let's bring this control on how governance and ethics is going to be helpful when we do a behavioral analytics for any business use case, and encounter some critical baselines of problems and say responsibility is important. So I think automated decisions are important, and Vishy, I'm going to reach out to you on how focus on expanding the addressable market by banking on the previously unbanked population. So how the real-time consumer designing the customer bite size and micro insurance and micro credit products for rural and other workforces. So over to you, Vishy.
Very interesting question. So I'll kind of divide into 2-3 parts. The first part is about Unity, the bank where I'm representing from. To give a quick snapshot, I will kind of cover it in about first 2 minutes. Second, I will talk about the consumer who is demanding from the informal sector, the sector which is kind of looking at microloans kind of structure. And third is that what kind of opportunities exist with mixing with data, right? So this is the three parts I'm kind of doing that. Before that, I will start with a question to you. Especially all are in the room, how many of us pay EMIs? Almost all, right? Is your money need also EMI based, or is it like sporadic, sudden, high volume, high value, low value, kind of? I mean, our money needs, are they exactly like EMI? I need money on a specific day for a specific amount, like our salaries. It comes randomly, right? So that is the huge opportunity we have as far as data is concerned. Money needs are very sporadic. Of course, we can do a lot of micro clustering. We can add, we can mix, use the data what is available, and then create products which have the flexibility. But today, as bankers, what do? We have got a very fixed product with a fixed EMI, with a fixed deduction schedule, with a fixed fee, everything, because the product manager doesn't want to have complexity, right? Today, that is where we are emerging from. Bankers being very straight-jacketed, straightforward thinking, this is the kind of money I'm going to earn out of the customer. If I sell this loan, this is what I get. Whereas the market is full of people with different needs. I'm sure that each one of us have a unique need, but I'm sure if we can aggregate the data, we can cluster into maybe, if not tens, few hundred clusters. But are we creating product with for the customer addressing these 100 clusters, 100 different products combinations? We don't. So that is a huge market opportunity. That is what we need to go and solve for. That is the fundamental thing. Second is that I have to talk about the bank where we came from. Unity started in 2021, the youngest bank in the country, and we came from a microfinance background, right? Last year we did about 3,000 crores worth of business. We have about 23 lakh customers we have served. The last 4 years, especially in the microfinance sector, we have done about 11,000 crores of business. But what kind of loans are we doing it? We are currently doing loan against property, JLG loans, micro lab, and all this. Standard, traditional, structured products. Now coming to the third part, opportunities what we have. We kind of covered about, we understood that the needs are very different. The needs are unique. I need money right away, right now, but unfortunately, banks don't have a product which I can address it. So the opportunities that come are micro loans. I mean, these are all concepts. We need to kind of explore and see how we can use the data to create those products. I may need a 3,000 rupee loan immediately, some emergency, right? But can I go to a bank for it? We can't, because they will ask for 100 documentation, and by the time the emergency either goes away or that becomes unneeded, right? The opportunity today is that if I can use the data about a customer, and since the topic we are discussing about a gig worker or informal sector, or it could be a rural customer who don't have a huge trail of data, we need to start looking at alternative data means. It could be the UPI transactions, it could be the electricity bills, it could be the general, how the customer has been transacting generally with the bank. Use those data, mine the data, and figure out this is the kind of throughput the customer is doing. It could be for example, I would say a delivery person belonging to Amazon, Blinkit, or any of those stuff. So their business is going to peak during the weekend, and during the midweek, things are going to be very lighter. So if the banks can read that pattern, assimilate, understand, and we can go back and offer a product to a customer, hey, weekend is going to come. Do you need money for your weekend course or weekend entertainment activities or any of your needs which you're going to have? I think that will be a great game changer. This is not just for a loan. This can be for investments, which could be in the way of micro SIP, daily SIPs. I can keep doing small investments on a daily basis. Then customers can do away with the entire vagaries of the market being more volatile. Every day, if we keep investing, the market will, over a period of time, average out, right? Similarly, for insurance, I'm going to travel to some place. I'm going to take, for example, cycling to some place. And you all know that the four-wheelers or even two-wheelers, they don't care about cyclists. We are practically an invisible tribe in the whole road. So those kind of things, if I have to go take a journey, it could be a BRM or any of those stuff. Can I have a specific insurance covering that particular period? Today we have travel insurance, people traveling overseas for a limited period, we can take an insurance. Why not for domestic use? It could be a trek, it could be a cycling expedition, or it could be even a marathon. People can, I mean, you're putting yourself at a high cardio output. I mean, if there's something happens, can I cover myself with those kind of options? Unfortunately, those are all potent needs available in the market. Data is available. Who's going to mine that and capitalize and serve this market? I think I'll leave it at that.
I think you touched upon something very important. It is one product, not for everyone. It is you can have a tailor-made product as per need, whether you're going to the rural markets or whether in the metro cities. Obviously, the product of metro cities or the ask of metros may not be fitting any other cities, right? So that is something which is very important, that we should come up with some tailored products which will be really helpful for all our customers as we move forward. I think one important point that we don't want to miss on, and I would like Mohammed to pitch in here, is how our digital banking, innovation, and how free AI and ethical AI is moving towards. And also I would like you to touch base upon on the DPDPA.
Thank you so much. Today it's very important for using of digital banking and mobile banking applications, UPI and BBPS and digital payments gateway also. So you have to protect and you have to careful of the all digital channels when you are using the mobile banking applications, UPI and data, how to protect and how to use the proactively and how to customize the data to be day-to-day basis. So you have to control your system to upgrade daily basis and protect your applications and check your proper applications, which application you using for the mobile banking, UPI and payment gateway like that. Because of you are not controlling your data and applications is very today very difficult to manage of entire banking and payment gateway systems. So data is very important. And next question for the DPDP. Digital, that is data protection data. How to define the critical data, non-critical data? So today is all the like Aadhaar card, PAN card, and everything is the digital data. So if you are giving any third party your like that Aadhaar card and PAN card, any documents to have to verify this is your digital data. To control your digital data day-to-day basis, and when you are using the applications and banking environment, you have to protect daily basis for the data protection. This is the...
Vishy, you want to add something to it? Okay. As we move forward, I think we spoke about how data needs to be protected, but I think our data gets from the touch point when we start engaging with the customer first when it comes to opening an account till we make him a new customer to the bank, or maybe he moves from new to an existing customer. I think every data point needs to be protected. As we move forward on this, I would like to ask one question. It's a rapid fire. Anyone can pick it up. Personalized banking or privacy first banking, what wins?
It's a very tricky question. We cannot take a binary answer here. So we need to have a personalized banking with all the privacy guardrails enabled.
Okay, so it complements each other. It cannot go one. So it has to be two hand in hand together.
Yeah, it's like asking, do you want the right eye or the left eye? We need both the eyes.
Yeah, we wanted to add?
I think hyper-personalization is the word, which takes care of your privacy as well as protection, both.
Okay. There's one little orthodox question that I would like to add or ask people in the crowd. How many of you have visited the branch for your transactions in last 10 days, 15 days, or a month? Or you're all dependent on digital transactions and online banking? None? Okay, someone has raised he's visited the branch. I think all of us are too much dependent. Thank you, sir, for highlighting that. So people who visit the branch, I think the generation which is our parents, I think it's still an emotional connect that we visit to a branch, right? For them it is. For us, if everything can be done online, what is the point of visiting a branch? So another question, maybe one of you can pick it up. Is branch banking becoming emotional rather than transactional?
I'll take it up. So since I come from a 105-year-old bank, I think it's a mixture of both. So we have customers who are aged about 60, 70, 80 as well. So can I give them digital banking and be more, transactional based? Yes and no. I don't know how many of them will be taking up to mobile phones and mobile app or your laptops and your web app, etc. easily. But the Gen Z is also there. They would require definitely digital, everything. They won't even go to laptops. It's all on the move. They have to be on the phone. So to your question, for the traditional users, it would be more of emotional banking. For the Gen Z, it would be transactional banking.
Okay, thank you for that. I think there's one question that I would like to ask to the audience again. What is the biggest customer expectation banks still fail to meet? Is there anything that you feel as customer, you all are bankers, but as a customer, do you feel there's something that we are still missing? Yeah?
Can we hand a mic?
So, hi. So, I would like to tell this thing. As a customer, we are experiencing the thing whenever any fraud transaction happening with us. So, the taking care of the, from the bank side, the process is too much delay. You have to report from cyber cell, you have to report in 1930 and all something. So, in this entire time, the fraudulent taking our money and having fun in their in their way. So, from my side, I would say कि if any fraudulent transaction happen, so the process of resolution timing will be reduced. मतलब हमें जल्दी से जल्दी उसको हमें take up करना चाहिए. What is the problem there? We have to finalize it. So yes, because as a customer सबको ये problem है कि जो भी fraudulent transactions होते हैं उनका कोई भी बहुत जल्दी resolutions नहीं होता है.
Very good question. I just reply to you. As per RBI guideline, given within 7 days, you have to report the bank as your branch. जो भी ब्रांच में इमिडिएटली आप रिपोर्ट कीजिए. रिपोर्ट करने के बाद साइबर सेल के ऊपर भी एक प्रोसेस है, वो प्रोसेस करके देन बैंक क्या करती है, चार्जबैक रेज करते हैं. जस्ट लाइक फॉर द योर अकाउंट नंबर विद द NPCI. इफ डिजिटल पेमेंट या डिजिटल बैंकिंग का एप्लीकेशन है, UPI हो, IMPS का हो, वो भी अगर ट्रांजेक्शन होता है तो NPCI का हम लोग चार्जबैक रेज करेंगे. चार्जबैक रेज करने के विदिन 7 days to 10 days के अंदर में बैंक को इन्फॉर्मेशन आ जाएगा कि ये ट्रांजेक्शन फ्रॉड है या जेन्युइन ट्रांजेक्शन है. वो आने के बाद अगर फ्रॉड ट्रांजेक्शन है तो हम लोग एक RBI को सेल है, RBI सेल दैट इज कॉल जिस को एक है उसका, तो उसको हम लोग रेज करते हैं तो विदिन 15 days उसका रिप्लाई आ जाता है. तो मैक्सिमम 20 days के अंदर आपका पेमेंट रिफंड आ जाता है. वो
ओके, सो मेरे को यहाँ पे एक पॉइंट ऐड करना है. व्हाट अबाउट द UPI अप्रूव ट्रांजैक्शन? मतलब मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स क्या होता है कि जितने भी हम कस्टमर्स हैं ना, वो हम गलती से ट्रांजैक्शंस कर देते हैं एंड लेटर ऑन वी नो दिस इज़ द फ्रॉडुलेंट. मतलब सामने वाला तो हमारा पैसा खाने के लिए बैठा है, राइट? सो उस केसेस में ये जो आपने बताया ना सर, दिस प्रोसेस इज कम्प्लीटली फेल.
बिकॉज आई कैन ऐड हियर, अगर कोई भी फ्रॉड UPI के थ्रू होता है, if you report it to the cyber cell and then you call 1930, they will immediately prepare a document. Uska immediate document hota hai, and the next step is obviously you will have to go to the bank. Otherwise, because UPI transaction आपने खुद किया है वो 4 digit PIN डालने के बाद, And maybe after the transaction, you realize that it is a fraud. Right? But somewhere we will have to follow the process ताकि बैंक को ये पता चले कि okay, he can stop. Banks, they stop the payment. If you tell them it is a fraudulent, you have reported, and they immediately stop the payment. But in that case, if the person बीच में ही जाके उसने अगर ATM से निकाल लिया, then you have lost the money. But banks do the stoppage, but yes, you will have to follow some process because without governance, without guardrails, anyone will do a transaction and then say it's a fraud. So banks and RBI have a process which needs to be followed.
Yeah, exactly. I'm agreeing with you, ma'am. Yeah.
Please add.
So the challenge today, what you're talking is not a technology problem or a banking product creation issue. The challenge today is it is a sociological problem. How do frauds happen? Either they show something which is enticing, excite the greed, create a sense of urgency, or it can be outright social engineering. I mean, I'm calling you, I know I need some money, please transfer crore, all the stuff. So I think while we are trying to solve it, it is not that there is an RBI, there is a cyber cell and all that. This is like catching the tail of a dinosaur, whereas the dinosaur's head is elsewhere, right? Unless and until there are some severe, stringent laws enacted, catch the fraudster who's creating like an industry. I'm sure all of you would have received at least one phone call, scam call in the whole country. How many phones we have? 120 crores. If somebody is doing it at an industrial scale of trying to scam somebody, what is the government doing about it? Right? We talk about so much of governance, tighter control, law, regulation, blah, blah, blah. How many people have been caught and how many people have been encountered? I mean, I know I'm very careful in using the word here. Why are people not being encountered? They are enemies of the state. They are doing harm to the society. They are preventing the country from moving forward. Plus, they are making fraud as a livelihood. Their gundas are, we have to have very, very tougher laws to, put them behind bars forever. Where is it? Why is society not questioning it?
I think this can continue on and on. I think this is an interesting thing to do. And I have a 15-second timer which is flashing in front of me. I usually conclude any of the sessions on data by saying the security, the governance, the controls government is going to bring in. But security of data is always in your hands. So please take care of it, how you use it. I think important is let's be aware of what all is existing for us to take care of if something has happened. And then let's be open to accept that yes, a fraud has happened and let's go to the right person to help us out. Rather than saying, oh, it's happened with me, may not happen with anybody else, but let's be open about it. And data privacy and protection is in everybody's hand and fingertip, so please take care of it. Thank you.
Fabulous, I think. Wow, what a panel discussion. And like you said, we could just go on and on. And likely, I'd just like to add, I think only 10 to 15% of the frauds have been actually addressed, which is marginally very, very low in some cases. So I think we need to increase those, but it requires a lot of governance and so many others regulatory. I think for that, we have to have one more panel discussions. So we'll come up with that. Thank you. Can we have a huge round of applause for the fabulous panelists? And this is a time I'll also request Mr. Joydeep Gupta, business leader, APAC and ME, Synnex, to please join us on the stage for doing the honors of felicitating. Can we have you on stage, sir, please? I may now request Mr. Ravi Ahuja to please join us on center stage. Can we have a huge round of applause, everyone? I think as we conclude, we know that the discussion. We also have Vishweshwaran Ramakrishnan. Thank you so much. Wonderful insights, sir. Can we have a huge round of applause for him as well? I'll now request Sonu Sachdeva to please accept the certificate from us. Thank you once again. We are very glad and privileged to have you. Next, I'll request Mohammad Khalid Hussain Once again, great insights from all the leaders out here. Let's have a huge round of applause for everybody. I may now request Vikram Keshav to please accept the certificate. Thank you once again for joining the powerful discussion, sir. And thank you, Dr. Anuradha Bhatia, for navigating such fabulous questions so that our panelists could actually give their key perspective. Can we have a group photo with all of you on the center stage, please? Can we have a group picture? Mr. Joydeep, I'll request you to please join in. Yes. Well, can we have a huge round of applause? With this, I think the goal is to use the data to understand people better, serve them faster, and protect them smarter, and empower the entire industry efficiently. Well, thank you, all the leaders, for a phenomenal session.